Dufferin Caledon. The opinions expressed in the following programs are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers nor Rogers TV.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Welcome to another episode of In Conversation with Alethia. I am your host, Alethia O'Hara-Stephenson, and this is a show that will have everyday people doing amazing and inspiring things in our community. It's a conversation where we hope to educate, we hope to empower, and inspire community members to go out and achieve their dreams. So I am honored to have our very first guest with us tonight. And this guest is an amazing, inspiring leader. She is a lawyer. She is also a life coach, a minister, and dare I say she's even an author. But that's not even all. She's also a mom, a woman of God, right? So incredible bio. So I'm going to go right into today's conversation, Victoria. Welcome to our show.
Thank you.
And after that amazing bio, the first question that I have for you is, how do you do it all? Just like the movie, how does she do it?
How does she do it? My God, thank you so much for that lovely intro. I'm just grateful. Thank you so much. How do I do it? Oh my God, I have to say I wear a lot of hats. I'm multifaceted. There's just so much different things that I do, but I do it because of the grace of God. Honestly, when people ask me how do I do it, I honestly just say it's because of the grace of God, because some days I don't even know where I get the energy from, but it just comes, and I try to prioritize. I try to take time off. I try to recuperate. You know, especially when it comes on Mondays, I have to have some time off for myself on Mondays. So that's how I kind of juggle it and balance it all.
Amazing. I love that. And, you know, we're right into the meat of the show already. And, you know, you talk about taking that time for yourself. And as many of us adults, even our young people, you know, who are listening, you know, we often just keep on going, but we forget to take time for ourselves. So why is that important? Like, you've made a conscious effort to dedicate your Mondays to recoup and rejuvenate. But why is that important? Why should people take that time?
It's important because self-love, mental health, it's real. Especially mental health is real. And when you're juggling so much hats, you're doing so much, it is very important for your own mental well-being and your own health. You know, it's for you to be your best self, you have to put yourself first and make sure you are showing up as your best. You know, so that's, for me, that's the main reason. And I have to show up for my boys, right? Because they're boys. They're active. There's always something going on in their life. There's always something for me to take a look at or do or sign or, you know, so I have to show up for them. And at the end of the day, when I do everything else, family's at the core of it. And as a mom, I have to make sure I am healthy for them because all they got.
Right.
Yeah.
That is so important because you need to fill your cup. You need to take care of yourself first before you can help the world.
That's
and
right.
we often forget, as individuals, we often forget about that. We are, you know, inclined to go out and give and do for others, but not realizing that, you know, in order for you to give and take care of others, your cup needs to be full.
Oh, girl.
Oh, that is such a powerful message.
It does need to be full because you can't pour from an empty cup, right? We have to pour from an overflow.
Absolutely. Powerful. Now, there's another interesting fact about you. You're a PhD candidate.
Yeah.
Right. That is such an inspiring thing to achieve. And, you know, many individuals, you know, will reach a certain stage in life, whether it's from an education perspective or age perspective, career perspective, whatever it is, but they feel that that's the limit, right? But here you are, you're on a journey to, you know, you're pursuing your PhD.
Yeah.
How? Why?
Why? You know what? I grew up in a background where I grew up with my grandparents, and they were, they just it was all about education for them. So they valued education. And primarily the reason why they valued education, they weren't educated themselves. So they just wanted to make sure their kids and grandkids had the best education possible. And they worked really hard to send me to school and their other kids to school. And my grandfather would always say, take your book, take your education, take it. You can change the world. You know, you can impact generations. So I grew up with that mentality that education was important. And I remember when I finished law school, after law school, I felt, even though I felt as if, you know, I achieved that goal and that dream, there was something inside of me that just said, there's more. There's more to it. You have to go to the next level. And that's the reason why. That's what pushed me, yeah.
That's powerful. And here you are talking about, you know, changing the world, impacting lives. And you're doing just that in your job, in your, I'm not going to say job, because job sounds like, you know, it's something that you have to do. This is something that you're passionate about, right? So you're changing lives and inspiring women to go out and be their best selves.
Yeah.
What inspired you to do that? What made you want to focus on building women and making sure that they're able to go out and achieve their dreams?
The reason why, when I was younger, there wasn't much people. I didn't see the support from me, and I struggled a lot. I had to do a lot of things myself. I had to figure out life myself. And, you know, coming from a Caribbean background, growing up with grandparents, and you migrate to Canada, you know, there's always that disconnect with your parents, right? So at that point, I had to figure out life. I had to figure it out for myself. And I said, you know, to whom much is given, much is required. To whom much is given, much is required. And that's one thing I remember, the thought just coming to me, you know, after I graduated law school. I just had these thoughts flowing, like, what's next? I accomplished this massive goal, my life dream. Now what's next? And I said to myself, to whom much is given, much is required. So I'm going to give back. I'm going to help women, young women, whatever age range of women, you know, I'm going to be there to support them. I'm going to be that hand to say, come on, girl, I got you, you know, I got you. Let me hold your hand and pull you along with me. So that was my motivation.
That is so powerful, and it's not taking anything away from you by reaching out and helping someone else. It's building you, right? It's continuing to build your legacy and the greatness that you have, while also building another female, another human being. That is quite powerful.
Yeah.
Now, I know you've been, you know, on this journey for quite some time, and you know, you featured a young woman who recently transitioned, and you had a heart-to-heart conversation, and you worked with this individual to transform their life. Can you tell us about that example and that journey, without, of course, revealing who the individual is?
Absolutely.
But that was a very inspiring conversation for me, and I would love for our viewers to be able to.
Did you read it all? That was a long one.
It was very, but if you could just touch on some of the key, you know, pieces of, you know, how you were able to help this individual transition from step one to where she is now.
Absolutely. So for me, I have this gift. I call myself the purpose activator.
Yes.
I just believe God has given me this gift to help people see their purpose and to just, you know, acknowledge it and confirm it for them. And I'm blessed. I have to say I'm blessed with that ability to be able to use my prophetic gift to help push people into their purpose. I remember we were out, we were in church, and I know she was a little bit concerned about what she wanted to do in her life, and I know she didn't quite want to work where she was working forever, and I saw purpose in her.
Yes.
You know, I saw purpose. I saw more in her. And I remember just speaking into her life, and I said, you know what? God wants you to go into nursing. He wants you to make an impact in nursing. And I remember saying to her, you're called to work in the hospitals. You're called to elevate people on their, taking their last breath. You're gonna speak hope into their lives. And I remember she said, Victoria, are you sure?
Yes.
That's always what people say to me, are you sure? And I said, yes, I know this is your purpose. I know this is what God is calling you for. You know, this is your greater purpose. So after that conversation, there's a mentorship program that I run,
right.
And she decided to come into the mentorship program because she wanted to pursue this, right? So she joined the mentorship group. And we worked together, I think it was like 6 weeks. And during that time, we decided, okay, what is it that you need in order to get you into nursing school? So she had to go now and get finish up her high school credits. So she went back to high school, and
That's
she's
powerful.
like, are you sure I could take these subjects? They're like physics, chemistry, biology.
Absolutely.
And I'm telling you, Alethia, she got all like 98, 100, and I remember every Friday she would call me, oh my God, I passed this test and so forth. And we worked together. I worked with her. She completed her high school, and then she got accepted into college, right? And she's in college, and she completed, and she went into the hospital now, and she's working. It's just an amazing story.
And thriving. That is absolutely powerful. And you know, what I'm hearing from this conversation is, you know, believing in individuals and allowing them the gift to be able to believe in themselves, right? And to be able to truly realize their dreams. And I'm sure, you know, through this mentorship session, you had to pull it out of her, because it wasn't just Victoria saying, you know, you should be a nurse. She had to have aspirations of being a nurse somewhere, you know, in her childhood, right, for you to be able to pull it out, and those key questions that you're able to ask her. Absolutely amazing.
I always say, you know what, we know what we truly want to be, anywhere from 4, 5, up to 10 years old. We have already formed in our imagination, our mind, and our thought what we want to do when we grow up. Have you ever asked a little child, what do you want to do when they grow up? They light up because they already know, right? They have looked into different things, and they know. And when I said to her, I remember asking her 3 questions. One was, what did you want to be when you were a little child? And she said, I always wanted to be a nurse, but I didn't think it was possible. I never thought it was possible. And I said, why? She said to me, I mean, I have my kids, I have the family, there's no way I can do this, you know. So that was one question I asked her, and she's like, I really wanted to be a nurse. So I always go back to, you know, that time when you were between 4 to 10, and during that time, those are critical years, right? And research has shown us that those are critical years in our lives.
Wow, and to be able to pull that out of her, you know, what lights her up, what truly gives her joy, that is quite remarkable. If you were to sum up, you know, one word that can describe that situation, what word would that be? Would it be courage? Would you say it's courage?
I would say, I call it spiritual alignment.
I like that.
Yeah, I call it spiritually alignment, being aligned. Right? You have to be aligned with your purpose. We definitely have to be. Otherwise, it takes us out of alignment. And where she was out of alignment with her purpose. And that could have caused her to stay in that dead-end job for years upon years, like many of us, you know, have done or continue to do. Right? So she was aligned with purpose.
Powerful. I'm going to end on that note. Thank you for joining us. I am here with Victoria Morgan from Victoria Morgan Ministries, and we are going to take a short break, and we'll be right back. Thank you so much.
Listen, you have a passion for something, so my passion was cooking. And Rogers allowed me to share my passion with everybody. And it is work, it is commitment, but it doesn't feel like it, right? When you're up there, you're doing it, you're presenting it. Love every minute of it. Absolutely. And I thank Rogers for allowing me to share my passion with the community. Yeah.
You're watching Rogers TV.
Welcome back to In Conversation with Alethia. I'm your host, Alethia O'Hara-Stephenson, and I'm here with Victoria Morgan. Last segment, we talked about alignment with your purpose. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about a little bit more? What does it mean to be spiritually aligned to your purpose?
Being spiritually aligned to your purpose, I think I may have coined that term. But it's all about operating in your call. Mm-hmm. So when you are spiritually aligned with your purpose, it means that you are doing what God has called you to do. So your gifts are being operated. You're doing what you are called to be doing, what you're meant to be doing. And when you are not spiritually aligned with your purpose, it means that you have stepped out of the will of God for your life. And you're doing something that doesn't align with your purpose. So you may be working a job, that you no longer enjoy, that you don't feel fulfilled in doing, or you don't find that passion. You don't have that passion for it, mm-hmm. and you no longer want to do that, job or career or business. So in that sense, then you're out of alignment with your purpose.
I love that. And, I've never heard that term before. I've heard, working with your gifts and your talents, but being spiritually aligned with your purpose is unique. And it makes total sense because when you think of even as a car, right? In order for your car to drive effectively, it needs to be aligned. Right? So that is absolutely perfect. Yes. So I know you have your Women Emerge program, and is that program designed to help women dive into their purpose and to be able to find out, what their spiritual gifts are and how to align their gifts with their purpose? How does that program work? The Women Emerge program, it started from just having a conference. So this idea came to me about having a conference for women to help them, come out of the hiding, just come out of being hidden and not knowing who they are, right. And just emerging into women who are leaders, women who are entrepreneurs, women who are truly just living with purpose and being that woman of prominence, eminence, and doing all that, being all that, and taking a stance in the world. And it definitely is a part of purpose, because many women, we kind of hide. Yes. Because we don't know our purpose. So we'll be doing, other tasks, other jobs, because we don't know what we're called to do. For example, today, my makeup girl said to me, Victoria, I often think what my purpose is. And when she said that, it just it hurt my soul, because she doesn't know what her purpose is. Mm-hmm. And for me, immediately, I hopped into the purpose activator mode, right? I want to know, I want to help you discover your purpose. And Women Emerge, it's all about helping women to step into their purpose and to lead and be leaders in what God has called them to do, right? So if you're called to a higher career, if you're called to sit around boardroom tables, I want you to know that you can do that, right? Once you're operating in your purpose, once that is God's will for your life, and you have accepted that, then I want to equip you with the tools, with the skills, and help you develop, in order to truly fulfill your purpose and walk into that. I love that. And, you touched on a key point that often women tend to hide, right? I remember hiding, right? And it is so powerful once you're able to step into your purpose, the things that you can achieve, right? And the inspiration that you can be to so many other women, and the change that you can impact in the world. When someone's not in line with their spiritual purpose, what are some of the downfalls that you've seen?
Oh, number one, women, we live a life where we sometimes we get miserable because we're doing something that we don't really want to do, right? And when you're aligned, then you come home from work, you're happy, you're working your business, you're excited, you're happy to wake up in the morning. There's just a glow that comes with it. And when you're out of alignment, you miss opportunities, right? Because you're in rooms that don't serve you. Absolutely. You're in places that do not serve you. You're in businesses that cannot grow, right? Because you are not where you're supposed to be. And when you are where you're meant to be, there's a level of confidence that comes over you. Right, you just feel that confidence, that power that you can be all things and do all things. So when you're in that zone of alignment, it just empowers you. It's empowering.
Amazing, I love that. So if somebody wanted to find out, what their spiritual alignment is, what their gift is, how do they go about doing that?
You know what? Some people, they will say that you really can't tell what your purpose is, because purpose, it changes over time, and rightfully so. Your purpose today can change tomorrow, right? What you're meant to be doing today, you master it. Once you get into mastery of that thing, God will take you higher, and He will take you to something else that you will end up having to master. So purpose, it grows, it evolves. So we never just find one thing and we work that thing for the rest of our lives, right? It grows, we master it, and then we move on to something else. And how you can identify your purpose, I love to say, look at the things that you're passionate about. What are your passions? What are your skills? Right? What did you go back to being 4 years old, as I mentioned, right? And you put that all together and you take a look at it and say, what am I good at? What am I great at? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses, but what are my strengths, right? And you take that, you put it with your passion, you put it with your skills, and right there, you will have an idea what your purpose is. And I always say, if the last resort is to pray. Absolutely. Pray about it, meditate on it. I'm big for spiritual meditation. I'm big on just affirming myself, meditating, and just sitting still until I figure things out, right? And that definitely helps you in finding purpose.
I love that.
Yeah.
And you touched on some amazing nuggets here, finding out what your passions are, what lights you up, right? Taking you back to childhood. And I can't imagine a time in my life that I am as happy as when I was a kid, right? There's no stress, there's no worry, just complete joy and happiness, and your soul just comes alive when you reflect back on those days. So it's critical for us to be able to go back into those moments. The other aspect I wanted to touch on is, transitioning from your purpose and, touching on your book as an example. Right. So your book, Dream, Destiny Fulfilled by Grace. Oh my gosh, just the title alone. Tell me about that book.
Yes, Dream, Destiny Fulfilled by Grace. It's a book about purpose. My subtitle is Acquiring Blind Faith to Manifest Your Purpose. And it's a book that book will help you get in alignment, spiritually aligned with your purpose, because in Dream I spoke about how to overcome your fears. Yes. Right? How to overcome your fears, self-sabotage, feeling as if you don't belong, how to overcome people who may even think your dream, your purpose is too big for you. Right? So I spoke a lot about that. So that book will definitely get you in spiritual alignment.
I love that. And you talk about self-sabotage. Statistics prove that women especially are so bad at, so good or so bad, whichever one you want to call it, but at self-sabotage, right? We step into boardrooms and we often think that we can't, or we shouldn't be here, or we're not good enough, right? but we do have it in us,
Yeah.
right? And I think when you talk about spiritual alignment, can you elaborate a little bit more on that and, you know, what it means to have that courage to step into your purpose, right?
Absolutely.
And getting rid of the self-sabotage.
Oh, absolutely. I say to get rid of that self-sabotage and step into purpose with power, with authority, with eminence, with all of that, you know, just confidently step into your purpose. Do self-affirmations, affirm yourself daily. Say, I am powerful, I am worthy, right? I am all these great things. I can sit at the boardroom table, I can make decisions, I am qualified, right? So I love to use affirmations, and I write affirmations. Like I will sit and I'll write them for myself, and I write them for my clients as well, because I enjoy doing it. And my affirmations, I make sure that it suits your personality, right? It suits your purpose, where you're going, and it helps you to get over that self-sabotage that can hinder your growth.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh. You know, one of the things that I recently discovered too is, you know, just learning how to, those powerful affirmations, right? Yeah. And at the end of the day, just looking at all the things, even the small wins, just reflecting on those small wins and say, yes, I did that, right?
Yes.
And it builds your confidence and your courage for the next day and so forth. Absolutely. So it's absolutely powerful affirmations. I know we're coming to the end of the show, and you know I could carry this conversation on forever, but what advice would you give to, since we're talking about women, to a young woman out there who who's afraid to step into her purpose, who, you know, is used to having a plan and not being able to see tomorrow? How do you encourage them to just take a leap of faith?
Oh, girl, I say take a leap of faith blindly. Just go forward and just do it. Part of doing that is affirming yourself, right? Making a vision board for your life. Visualize where you want to be. Visualize the steps that you need to take to get there. And slowly conquer each task, right? Set goals and take each step one at a time, and slowly but surely you'll get there. If I can go on a little bit longer, yes. I remember when I was going through school and going through law school, going through York and all of that, I made sure I wrote what I wanted to do. I got it done, but I did it because I took my time. I went through one assignment at a time, and as soon as I get through my lists and my goals, I keep setting goals for myself, but I make sure to, you know, applaud myself at each stage.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Rapid fire question. One word that you would give to our viewers to encourage them to go on their path and achieve their dreams. One word. Tough, I know.
Dreamer.
Dreamer?
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Keep your
Yes.
dreams alive.
Keep
Thank
your
you.
dreams alive.
Amazing. That brings us to the end of our show, Victoria. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Ask Our Experts. Victoria, thank you once again for being on our show, being our guest, and I look forward to having you on again in the future.
Thank you. It's my pleasure being here.
Wonderful.
Thanks.
Call the Rogers TV Viewer Response Line. Email us or connect with us on social media.
Being stuck in your home during this pandemic also means you have a home, Waiting in line for groceries means you have money for groceries.